and welcome to the second instalment of the 2022 Mystery Cushion Club. I'm incredibly excited this month to be giving you 3 more squares to knit for your front panel, and they are just as brightly coloured and just as full of beads as your June squares, so I'm hoping that you are enjoying this colourful journey and that this month's squares will keep you busily knitting and happily knitting all the way through to the middle of August, when you will receive the 3rd instalment of this year's club. There are no new knitting technique videos this month, but if you need any help at all with the techniques in the July squares, all you need to do is to scroll back to the June blog where there are 10 videos, and these include demonstrations of how to knit Fair Isle, how to hook in beads, and how to knit in beads using the slip stitch method. There are other techniques there too, and all of them will be very, very useful for your July squares. So don't forget to go back there if you get stuck. They give you all the help that you will need to knit your squares this month. So the 3 squares that you are knitting this month are squares 7, 8 and 9, and they form the strip of squares on the right hand side of the front panel of the cushion cover. So you'll be starting with square 7 and then knitting square 8 onto square 7 and then square 9 after square 8, completing one whole strip. The first square in that strip is square 7, and that's called Butterflies and Leaves, and it starts on page 5 of your July mail out. Now it looks similar in its design to square 1, which was the square called Hearts and Flowers, but this time the hearts and flowers have been replaced by butterflies and leaves. They are in a similar layout in bands of colour with hooked in beads, but the motifs are different. I just want to point out one thing about this square, which is talked about in your pattern notes and tips on page 5 of the mail out, and it's about an increase and a decrease that happens in this square. And I'm just going to talk about that so you understand why there's a change in the number of stitches. It's on row 18 where you decrease 1 stitch, and then on row 29 where that stitch is increased back into the work again, and that's all to do with the number of stitches in the leaves panel here in the center. So the butterfly Fair Isle sections have 39 stitches and the leaves have 38 stitches, and that's why there's a change in the number of stitches to accommodate that pattern in the center so that you have the correct number of stitches. Okay, so just watch out for that. There's also changes in needle sizes. This happened in square 1 as well, so you'll be familiar to this, but you're changing from 2.5mm to 3.50mm to 3.75mm. These changes in needle size will help to maintain the same width of fabric all the way from the beginning to the end of that square, so they're important to do. The second square for July is square number 8, Rainbow 2, and this begins on page 8 of your July mail out. Now at first glance you might think this looks identical to square number 2 from your June patterns. However, if you look very closely, the colours of the stripes have been reversed. So after initially casting on with amethyst and working a couple of rows in garnet, the stripes go in this order, beginning with Barbara, then changing to coral, then to sulphur, then to electric green, and finally at the top it's turquoise. There are slip stitch beads in that square too, which are within those coloured stripes, and there's changes of needle size. You're changing from your suggested needle size of 3.5mm to 2.5 0mm, and again that's to maintain the same width of fabric all the way from the beginning to the end. This is a relatively easy square to knit, especially compared to the Fair Isle square number 7. So I really hope that you enjoy knitting this one, maybe sitting out in the garden if you've got some of the beautiful sunshine that we have here in the UK at the moment. Wherever you are knitting it, I hope that you enjoy it. Should be quite straightforward and easy to do. The third square this month is square number 9, called Flowers and Hearts, and this is very similar to square number 1, but you will notice that the position of the hearts and the flowers have been reversed. So you begin with a row of hearts followed by a row of flowers and then finishing with a row of hearts. So again, you can use the technique videos from the June blog to help you with that. I would think that after you've knitted square 7, square 9, following the same, using the same techniques, following the same kind of design for that square, you should find that quite straightforward to do. So that concludes your 3 squares for your July instalment. It's important each month that you check the abbreviations page in your file. In the July instalment, it's on page 15. It's the penultimate page of your file. And this month there are 2 new additions to the abbreviations list, and they are M1 and SKPO. So M1 is make 1. It's the increase that you're going to do in square 7. And SKPO is a decrease of 1 stitch, which is also in square 7. I spoke earlier about the increase and decrease to accommodate the leaves Fair Isle. Well, that's where you're going to be using them. So if you're not sure of those abbreviations, or you just want to check that you're doing them correctly, please do check that page 15 of your mail out before you start knitting the square. So as far as I know, no one has yet guessed the title of this year's mystery cushion. I will check that with Sue, and if I'm wrong, I will include it in the written part of the blog this month. But to my knowledge, there's been no correct answers. And I did say, I think in last month's blog, that I thought the title would be a tricky one to guess. And indeed, it's remaining a mystery for many of you out there. So if you do have any ideas at all about the title of the cushion, do remember to send them in to us here. We love hearing from you. We love hearing your ideas. We love hearing your stories and seeing photos of what you're doing. So please remember to send in anything to share with us about your mystery cushion knitting, and with your permission we'll include it in the blog along with your guess if it's correct for the title of the cushion. So we very much look forward to hearing from you and seeing how you're getting on with your mystery cushion knitting. So I'm going to leave you now to get on with your July squares. The weather here in the UK at the moment is absolutely beautiful. We've got wall-to-wall sunshine. So I'm very much looking forward to going outside and spending some time over the next few days knitting al fresco. I hope that you can do the same wherever you are in the world. So until next month, do take care of yourselves. Keep busy, keep happy, keep knitting, keep well, and I will see you back here for the 3rd instalment of the Mystery Blanket Club in 4 weeks' time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.